Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so glad you're tuning in. Today, I'm putting on my parenting coach hat, and we are diving straight into one of the absolute most exhausting, pull your hair out parts of raising kids. Yep, the morning struggle. If you're a tired parent who feels like you are literally talking to a brick wall every single day, I see you. You're just trying to get everybody out the door, the clock is ticking, and you are running on empty. But today, we're going to look at a totally different approach to this daily battle. We're drawing on some truly fascinating insights into how Japanese parents handle instructions, and it's going to fundamentally shift how you communicate with your kids. So let's just dive right in. Have you said the exact same sentence 15 times this morning? You know the drill. Put your shoes on. Put your shoes on. Seriously, put your shoes on. I am not asking again. Put your shoes on. Does that sound familiar? Look, I want to validate exactly what you're feeling right now. When you're stuck in that loop, it completely feels like your child is either ignoring you on purpose or they just magically cannot hear you. But here's the real truth we found in the source material. Your child actually heard you the very first time. They aren't deaf. And surprisingly, they aren't even being actively defiant. They've just learned over a really long period of time that your words don't actually mean anything until about the 15th time. Why? Because that's when your voice finally changes. They've literally just learned to wait for that specific tone. So here is the aha mechanism of exactly how this habit forms. Every single time you give an instruction and then you don't follow through immediately, your child's brain literally files it away in a little folder called Not Important Yet. Just think about the progression for a second. The very first time you say, put your shoes on, well, to them, it's just a suggestion. By the 5th time, it's basically blended entirely into the background noise of the house, like a running dishwasher. By the 10th time, it's merely a cue. It's a signal that the real instruction is coming soon. You are accidentally training your child's brain to categorize your first 14 requests as totally ignorable audio until the loud one, the sharp one, the one that actually means business finally arrives at number 15. Stop teaching them to wait for the angry voice. Just let that sink in for a second. Every single repeated instruction is essentially a lesson that says, hey, you don't actually have to listen until mom or dad gets mad. Now hold on. First things first. Take a deep breath and let go of the guilt. You absolutely did not teach them this on purpose. Almost every single parent falls into this exact trap just because we're busy and we're multitasking. But Japanese parents, they bypass this trap entirely. A Japanese mother says it once and the child does it. And no, it's not because Japanese children are somehow magically more obedient or living in fear. It's because Japanese parents follow one overarching rule, supported by 3 really quiet techniques, that completely changes how a child's brain receives an instruction. Let's look at the first technique. The first technique is called mito mito, which translates to meet the eyes. A Japanese parent never gives an instruction to the back of a child's head. Ever. They aren't shouting it from the kitchen while the kid is zoned out in the living room. They definitely aren't yelling it across a busy playground. Instead, before they say a single word, they get close. They physically lower themselves right down to the child's level, and then they wait. They just wait until the child's eyes meet theirs. This next idea beautifully illustrates why that physical closeness is absolutely crucial. As our source notes, your words land on a child who is physically present but mentally somewhere else. You see, a young child's brain is still developing. They literally cannot fully process a command and engage in an activity at the exact same time. When your kid is completely absorbed in stacking blocks on the rug and you shout, "Time for dinner," from down the hall, their brain is still inside those blocks. You're talking to their body, sure, but their mind is in a totally different zip code. Eye contact is that essential physical switch that moves their attention away from the toys and directly onto you. So here is your direct action plan for this first technique. Stop whatever it is you are doing. Walk over to your child, crouch down, wait for their eyes, and then, and only then, do you speak. Yes, I know it takes about 10 extra seconds of your morning to physically walk over to them, but do the math here. Spending those intentional 10 seconds completely replaces the need for 15 exhausting, frustrating repetitions shouted from across the house. Once you have their eyes, we move right into the second technique, hitotsudake. This means only one. Now that you've successfully captured their attention, you absolutely have to simplify your delivery. Remember, we are accommodating a developing brain here. You can't just overload the system the second you've turned it on. The comparison here is a literal game changer. The typical Western habit is to stack our instructions. We say things like, okay, put your shoes on, grab your backpack, don't forget your water bottle, and hey, meet me at the car. Now, to an adult, that's one highly efficient sequence. But to a kid's brain, that is 4 entirely separate commands coming at them way faster than they can hold them. So what happens? Well, they do the first one, maybe, and then completely forget the rest. Then you have to repeat the whole list, and boom, you're frustrated. But they didn't fail to listen, they just failed to juggle 4 things at once. The Japanese singular method is totally different. It's one instruction. Put your shoes on. You wait until it's done. Then the next one. Now get your bag. One command, one completion, then the next. It might feel a little slower at first, but it is actually so much faster because one clear instruction that actually gets done will always beat 4 stacked instructions that just get completely ignored. And that brings us to the third technique. And honestly, I'm gonna level with you as your coach right now. This is the hardest one. It is called matekara, which means after waiting. When a Japanese parent gives an instruction, they say it exactly once, and then they wait. They have to actively let go of that anxious, uniquely parental instinct to immediately repeat themselves just to make absolutely sure the child heard them. The essence of this step is just profound. They give the instruction and they let the silence do the work. Now this silence, it's gonna feel deeply uncomfortable for you at first. Every single instinct in your body is gonna scream at you to fill that gap, to offer a helpful little reminder, or to just nudge them along. But the very moment you repeat yourself, you are teaching your child that the first instruction didn't count. The silence right after the instruction is actually the exact place where the skill of listening is built. So the crucial takeaway here is this. Wait. You say it once, and then you literally just close your mouth. Allow the audio track of your home to breathe in silence for a few seconds. When you do this, something really amazing shifts in the child's brain. They realize that the instruction is totally complete. There is no second version coming. There's no louder version coming. This is it. You finally stop proving to them that your first words don't matter, and you let the silence teach what your 15 repetitions never could. All right, let's pull the whole shebang together. Number 1, meet the eyes, walk over and crouch down. Number 2, only one instruction. Don't stack a massive to-do list, just ask for the shoes. Number 3, wait. Say it once and hold the silence. Do you notice what's missing from this list? None of these techniques require yelling. None of them require harsh punishments or complicated sticker charts, and they certainly don't require you to be some strict, terrifying parent. They simply require you to step into the role of a calmer, clearer coach for your child's developing brain. So here is my challenge to you as we wrap up today's explainer. The 7-day challenge. Please, don't try to change your entire parenting style overnight. Tomorrow morning, I want you to try just the very first step. Before you give your first instruction of the day, stop, walk over, crouch down, and wait for your child's eyes before you speak. Do just that one specific thing for the next 7 days. Look, your child has spent years learning to wait for your 15th repetition, so it's going to take a few days to unlearn. But within a week, you are going to be amazed at how much the repetition just vanishes from your mornings. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to carry with you. What actually happens tomorrow when you finally stop teaching them to wait for the loud voice? Just imagine trading the chaos and the yelling for a completely new framework of trust and quiet. You say it once, they hear it as real, and they move. Not because you got louder, but because you became beautifully, intentionally clear. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Be patient, be present, and trust the quiet. I'll catch you next time.